Hi everyone. Have you ever felt like your relationship with your mom is holding you back? That there's a struggle with feelings of guilt, shame, and blame? And that there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to your mom? Well, you're not alone. And in this video, we're going to explore 3 ways to heal your parental wound and break free from that feeling and that pattern that's keeping you stuck today. My name is Jenny, and I'm going to share my personal experience and the things that I have learned by going to the counselor, seeking out life coaches, and I'm going to bring this all to the table for you. So I started off with not feeling seen, heard, or felt. I really craved my mom's attention. I wanted her to love me. I felt unloved. I felt unworthy. I wanted her approval, and I felt like my needs were not met. Now, she's not one for verbal affirmations. She's also not one for physical touch. So as a child, I accepted this as this is the way that love is supposed to be. And it really deteriorated some of my relationships in my earlier years. Now, when I went to see a life coach, they were saying, why don't you use personification? That's a fancy word for saying replacing the person with an object to help us relate. Now, the quick and easy of this was, he said, well, she's the kettle. You are expecting a kettle to make you iced tea. You're expecting a kettle to make you something that you're not going to get from her. And are you able to accept her for exactly who she is? Now, I never thought about it this way, and I'm like, is she a kettle? No, she's not. But it makes sense because all through these years and into my 30s, I thought that I was able to change her, that my expectations of her was going to shift somehow, and she was going to become this super loving sitcom mom that's going to hug and love and praise me when she never has before. So why would I expect her to change now? Next is setting boundaries. This is really important as we get older, that we actually need to figure out what healthy boundaries are. They don't teach you in school, and if you have a mom like mine, she's not going to teach you either. So unfortunately, I had to figure it out on my own. What does emotional well-being and protection have in relationship to each other? And how am I supposed to do that if I can't set boundaries, and every single time I talk to her, she triggers me, and I'm like, ah! Or, ah! So a little bit of both. My therapist actually gave me this beautiful analogy of the garden. Now imagine you are the house and there is a fence around your house. And when your boundaries are not being met, it means that all these people that you're letting in are actually stomping all over your garden and destroying your flowers and your grass. And is that okay? No, it's not. Can you stay on the sidewalk or wait for my approval when I have capacity and acceptance to open the gate for you to actually come in to my space? And you still have to respect my boundaries. Now, it sounds easier said than done, but I wasn't protecting my power because I just let her walk all over everything. When it comes to her, I didn't have a fence. I didn't know how to set it. Nobody had taught me how. And one of the ways that I started envisioning this was calling her when I am ready, making sure that I set time frames or reduce my expectations when I do talk to her on the phone. So these are really important things that you could take into account. Now, if you have any special skills that you've been utilizing to protect your garden, please drop a comment. I'd love to hear anything that's going to help. So the last one is practicing that self-care and self-compassion. Instead of going, why doesn't she love me? Why doesn't she say that she's proud of me? Why doesn't she ask me about all the wonderful and amazing things that I'm doing that I want to share with her? But when I share it with her, she doesn't get it because she's not the right recycle bin. Now, this is talking about the recycle bin scenario. Is there are certain people that are better to talk to about certain topics than others. And it's really important that we understand this, because I'm not going to talk to a single 20-year-old about being a mom. I'm not going to talk to my mom about things she doesn't understand, like therapeutic arts. And I don't want to worry her when I talk about work. So like, what's happening in nursing, or how do I feel about healthcare? Is that something that she cares about? Probably not. I mean, save that from my work friends. Having that recycle bin also respects that you are understanding who is going to be receptive and safe to talk to at the end of the day. You're not going to talk to certain people about your clients because that's a breach of confidentiality. So that's something that I do. Now with my mom, I went to go see a hypnotherapist and I said, okay, you need to help me because I feel like I'm out of control. And she triggers me so much, and I'm almost 40. Why is she still triggering me? Well, I have this mother wound. She just told me what are the things that she's passionate about. What kind of recycle bin is she acceptable person to be talking to? Now she loves talking about, her morning routine, where she's going, what she's eating, how is my daughter and my partner, very simple surface level stuff, the weather. And if I keep it contained to those, I'm not only protecting my garden, I am respecting myself, and I am able to find the right recycle bin. So I'll give you a bit of a bonus here that really worked for me to forgive my mom, to forgive myself, and really come into that healing place for my mother wound, for any codependencies that I had. And it gave me such a shift. It developed a more positive and loving relationship with myself, and it just made it easier for me to move past things that have held me back in the past. So one of them is writing a forgiveness letter. This is a Hawaiian tradition. You can look it up. And the first thing you do is you write, feel those loves of words of affirmation that made me feel full, complete, and accepted. Please forgive me for always making you anxious, angry, whatever it is. And then thank myself. Thank you, Jenny, for reading this and understanding where I'm coming from and opening that place of forgiveness. I used it with writing letters to my mom several times. It's even more powerful if you take the letter and you read it in front of the mirror. It always makes me cry, and that's totally okay. All feelings are welcome. And this has helped me see my relationships in a different way. And if I have anger or resentment, shame, blame, or guilt, I write a forgiveness letter, and it has helped me exponentially. So where my mother had been the constant source of my anxiety and my stress, and I would be completely dysregulated after the phone call, I was able to acknowledge and start accepting my feelings and where I was at in our relationship and how much it impacted me. So now I'm starting to see things in a new light, and I hope that you do too, and you can take some of these practices and heal that mother wound, because you have the wisdom, the divine guidance, and the intuition to heal yourself. I see the sacredness in you. Thank you so much for watching, and if this resonates, drop a yes in the comments or DM me with any questions. Love to hear from you. Thanks.